Hey guys, how's it going? So we did ship a few updates on Olly over the last few days, and I just want to talk about these updates both from the extension side and from the website side. So let's start by the extension updates. There are two major things that we shipped, right? One of the issues that happened on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn did change something in the code which kind of broke the panel, but we fixed it. The other two things that we shipped is the blue sky comment panel and the product hunt comment panel. Now there are some basic, these are like the first versions of these panels and we're still working on getting the context for these posts, but it does a decent job, right? So for example, when you click on any of these buttons here, you would see that we're able to generate a comment on product hunt, and you can do the exact same thing on blue sky as well. So if I click on this post, I see this panel where I can click on any of the buttons. Let me just go ahead and refresh this, and if I click on any of these buttons, you can see it kind of generates a comment based on that. So like I said, this is a new flow and we are still working on improving some of the panel features, but at this point of time, I think these panels are ready for you to use across blue sky and product hunt, which we did not have before this. One of the other things that I also want to talk about that we shipped in this update is the onboarding flow, and a lot of people who were onboarding on Olly weren't necessarily sure, had a tough time setting up the whole experience for them. Keeping that in mind, we built like a very simple onboarding flow here where every time you log in and you try to go to dashboard, you will see a screen like this. You can click on get started, and then in here you will have to select your roles and more details. You can obviously skip this for now if you would want, and then the third step would be where the user clicks on this and adds the extension which I already have. So I'm going to move on, and then in here it actually shows you two different ways you can use Olly. This is one of the biggest problems that we've faced with Olly so far, is that people weren't necessarily able to figure out how to use the extension. So let's say if you select any of the text, you would see there's a pop-up on the right here. You can click on this pop-up to actually see the data being generated. This is sample data, right? And you can close this and then you can close the panel itself. Once you click anywhere on the screen, it disappears. Second, on the quick comment side, you can actually go ahead and use any of these custom buttons, and this can generate a sample comment which you can post, and if you scroll down you can see this is the sample comment that is generated. Right now let's move on to the next step, and again like I said, this was one of the big problems that we were facing, and we've just fixed it with, or maybe potentially fixed it for users who may have faced the issue setting up Olly. Next step is where you actually copy your license key, and this is where it's shown that you need to paste it inside your Olly extension in order to make it work. So that's what we do. Once you click on I've activated my license, then you need to copy this key. If you're using Olly API, go ahead and copy this key and paste it in the API section on Olly, or you can continue without the key as well. So again, like I said, the goal here is to give users options to add these keys, and then once you do have added my key, then you can rate the experience and go to dashboard. So this is the second update for the website itself, and the final thing that we've also rolled out very recently. Before that, let's look at this. So if you go to Olly social tools/Sherlock, this is again inspired by an open source GitHub repository where once you put in a username, so let's say I'm going to put Go Yashi and then do a search, it essentially allows you to look up a user by their username. So if I show you some samples here, let me go ahead and log myself out of this. Once I actually go to /tools/Sherlock, and then in here I'm going to show you some samples. So I did a search by name Yash Thakkar, and then you can see these are all the websites where this username is present, and it actually gives you to the link to that page. I've actually tried with some of the users in the community here, so I'm going to open any of these profiles. So let's say I'm going to look at Yash Thakkar, and then I'm going to open this YouTube channel, and you can see it looks up the channel that has this username. You can actually look up other usernames as well. So there's Twitch, there's X, and a bunch of different platforms where this specific username is present. So again, like I said, these are the three major updates, or maybe also there's one more update. So if you go to the home page, but like I said, most of these are around social media automation, panels, UX improvement, and so on and so forth. A very simple chat bubble that we've also added because a lot of users had questions on how they can use Olly. So you can just click here now, and then you can either choose any of these questions or type your own questions. Now this is powered by AI. So this is going to give you customized response based on your question. So let's go ahead and click on this. And this is actually working with AI in the background to generate a more personalized response for you. Agencies can leverage Olly to enhance social media engagement significantly. They can utilize AI personalities to customize comment styles and so on and so forth. Right. So the idea behind this is also to help ease the user flow a little bit, because a lot of users don't necessarily understand how to use the extension. The idea with this is that we want to make this as professional as possible possible and as simple as possible in the same place. So I hope this video adds value to you guys. The idea is, again, if there are any problems in the journey, we want to do our best to ensure that these problems are resolved. And trust me, like, we are hearing you at all points of time. Every time you have feedback and you put it in a Discord group or you send us an email, we are definitely working in order to get those issues resolved. Obviously, we don't want to build like a temporary product. We want to build like a long-term product that will continue to add value to our users. So don't worry, you're in good hands. And if there are any questions, please feel free to drop those in the comments and I'll respond to you guys promptly. Thank you so much.